Danny, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast, man. Today we're going to be chatting all about building brands, content, the importance of personal branding. So it's an honor to have you on. For the guys who don't know this guy, Mr. Coolness himself right here. So welcome on.
Hell yeah, man. Appreciate you having me, dude.
Likewise.
Excited.
So let's just dive in, man. How do you really get into the content creation space, and why do you even go down that rabbit hole in the first place?
I mean, it is absolutely a rabbit hole. That's a good way of putting it. But in terms of how you get into it, I feel like people ask that all the time. Like, oh, whoa, what's the best way to start? Like, how do I get into content? What format should I put it in? But the reality is, like, the hardest video you're ever going to make is the first one that you put out. It's going to be difficult press and record it. Even if you do it on a phone, it's going to be difficult to flip the camera back towards yourself. And for a lot of people, it's like, that's what I look like. And now I have to talk to this thing. Like, what do you mean? So it's really just getting over that hump of doing it the first time. Yeah. And then the next battle is staying consistent with it. Because guess what? You're going to post your first 100 videos and get no love, get no traction at all. So you really just got to go in with the mindset of expecting, like, this is going to suck. No one's going to watch it for a long time. And I'm going to think that I'm good. I'm going to have an ego in it a little bit. And then that ego is going to get completely crushed because no one's going to watch my stuff. And then if you do that for long enough, then it starts to take off.
How long ago was it when you made your first video? And what was your journey like before you ever started seeing like viral growth?
It was almost a decade ago now I made my first video, and that's saying something considering I'm 21 years old. I started when I was 12. Started with
what videos were you making back then?
You know, are you familiar with Dude Perfect at all? Like the trick shot videos? Yeah, we were doing that. We'd get all the boys together in the neighborhood and do some trick shots. We were on YouTube. We were on Instagram. My mom didn't even let me have Instagram at the time. I had to jailbreak my iPod, download Instagram, and then just like start putting up the Dude Perfect videos. Honestly, I think that brings up a really good point because I wasn't doing it to get famous or to get traction. I was doing it because I had a lot of fun doing it. That was the fun that we had with the boys in the neighborhood. It was like, yo, come outside. We're doing some trick shots. Go knocking doors. Like, yo, we're going to do some trick shots. And that allowed us to be really consistent with it. It's all we wanted to do. We get back from school and we want to make videos. I'd want to edit the videos. I'd want to post them online. And then over time, like, we had like 10K subs on YouTube when I was like 14. But it was years worth of consistent posting. Even at the time, from 12 to 14, we were posting on YouTube like every other day because that's all we wanted to do.
So then where was the turning point between like when you were just doing this for fun and when you realized like there's serious money to be made with building a brand?
It was when I first got into the digital marketing space. I'd always done it for fun because it was Dude Perfect trick shots. Then we had like a wiffle ball league, you know, like wiffle ball. We had one of those, and that grew even more. And then during COVID, there was a lot of like TikTok trends that had first started because TikTok was first starting to get popular. What I did instead of posting those on TikTok was post them on Instagram Reels. Right when Instagram Reels was first trying to copy TikTok. So that got a lot of traction. I legit was just doing it for fun the whole time. Started growing off the same page. And I was like, you know, this is kind of fun. And then right after COVID, before I went into college, at first it was like taking a gap year in between high school and college. I got into the digital marketing space, started working for a couple other companies, like selling Instagram marketing services. And that's where I really realized I could leverage my brand because I would get way more replies in the messages because the way that we would get clients was message people on Instagram, get them on a call, and then close them. And I noticed I had a lot more early success because my page was really high level. I had a lot of followers, had a lot of content on it. People would reply to me a lot better and a lot more often than some of the people I was working with. So that's when I really realized, like, oh, wow, this is a powerful thing. Like, what would happen if I actually intentionally started to grow this more and intentionally started to put out more value and made my page as a spot where people could land and learn something and build credibility.
Yeah, and you were obviously playing like sports at a collegiate level, very high level. Like, why did you decide to walk away from that and then go all in on content creation?
I heard something literally 2 days ago at a mastermind that summed it up really well because I could say what would happen. I could describe the feelings inside, but I heard at a mastermind something called the internal compass. From the outside, everyone would look in at my life like aunts, uncles, family members, friends, family friends, and be like, you have it all. I didn't just play college sports at a high level. I had a perfect GPA there. I had a full scholarship. I wasn't paying a dime to be at school. I lived in New York City, like the hub of business there. And everyone was like, wow, it was easy to brag about me to your friends as parents. And I walked away from it because it didn't feel right inside of me. Like I would wake up and I was like, dude, I'd rather be doing anything but this.
Right.
And I had that experience in between high school and college where I took a year off. That was the most fun I had. I was door dashing at least 12 hours every single day, grinding, throwing it into crypto, watching that go up, trying different business models, failing at those. And like, although I was doing okay for myself, that was the most fun I was having. On the outside, when I was in college, everyone would be like, wow, that dude's awesome, man. He has a great life. But inside, I was like, he just fucking sucks. Yeah. So I realized that now I have more experience, and if I drop out and completely go all in on this, I believe in myself enough to know that it'd be something cool. And so far, that theory has been.
Yeah. And so then what is it right now that you do? Mainly, like, obviously you create content for yourself, but how do you service other people in the market?
Yeah, dude. So right now we're in the midst of building the best branding agency in the world, and we're well on our way to doing that. And what I mean by that is not only just covering every single tiny vertical inside of branding, but dominating it. Yeah. Because in this day and age, there's so many people and so many agencies out there. There's also so many gurus that can go out there and just post stuff and fake it. But like, there's a real market for good business. Like if you can just do things really, really good, you don't even need to have any marketing. I've barely done any marketing for my business. I don't even go outbound in the messages anymore, just because the people we service just send more people.
Right.
Perfect the product in each little mini vertical, and then the rest will come. And in terms of like what exactly we do, the main offer that I'm focusing on the most is flying out to clients and handling everything for them. So let's say like, you were in the States, we're here in Medellin, Colombia right now, beautiful place. I love it so much here. But if you were in the States and you were a client of mine, would fly out to you. We'd hang out for anywhere from 3 to 7 days and get 6 months worth of content for you. So that means us and our team following you around with a camera all day long, filming your daily life, getting you on some podcasts, asking some tailored questions, getting a bunch of long form stuff, and then sending it back to the editing ninja squad. They chop it up all into short form, long form, podcast audios. Then our team goes through, posts all of it for you on your social media platforms. And then we do the marketing and the ads on top of it to make sure that you grow. So that's what I spend majority of my time on, where I'm like flying out, for example, like I don't know when it's going to get released, but we're going to Jamaica in 2 weeks to film with another client, and going to Turks right after that to film with another client. But we can handle any bit of that operation. So let's say you just need ads. Let's say you just need editing. Let's say you just need like influencer marketing. Let's say you just need ideas for content. Let's say you just need videographies. We're opening up a podcast studio down here in Medellin in the next couple of days, actually. So we can handle any bit of it. But the goal is just to keep gobbling up different mini verticals when it comes to branding. So like, for example, web development, app development, stuff on the horizon, hosting like content houses, just doing more stuff for the industry, because the industry is yearning for something real, because there's so much fugazi stuff out there. Yeah.
So, and then that brings me to a great question. Like, what do you believe are the first principles of what greatness looks like when it comes to building a brand? And then we'll follow that with like, where you think a lot of people fall short in this content creation space.
I'll tell you exactly where people fall short in the content space. It's not doing it. It's thinking that they need to have a perfect plan. I talk to so many people that do epic stuff, and it's crazy how difficult it is sometimes to break those beliefs down. It's like, dude, you can do it. You just got to get on the phone and press record. You've done so many cool experiences in life. You've built so many businesses. You've done so much shit. And people need to know about it, because guess what? The people that are thriving online right now are the ones that haven't done cool shit, but that know how to tell a story, that know how to brand themselves, that know how to get out there. And it sucks, because there's a bunch, like the real heavy hitters that I meet in life, they have no presence. They have no presence online.
And as you're saying this, I'm literally like thinking about myself, because it's like I see so many people, and as a marketer or someone who knows psychology, right, we see right through the lens. And so you see what people highlight, and you can just tell who someone is based on what they highlight. And so let's say they're so focused on 10 years of experience in this thing, but then there's no actual real thing to highlight. They focus on that. Exactly. So when I see this, I'm just sitting there like, man, what the hell? Like, I shot myself in the foot the last few years simply by, I have all the content, I just never put it out. And you know this, we've chatted about this. And I know it's because of the belief. And there's some truth that some of the largest, wealthiest people in the world, they choose not to have a brand, but their industry just doesn't require that from them.
I believe that too, but I think that like you saying, oh yeah, I can see right through the lens. Dude, you're a heavy hitter, bro. Like we've chatted a bunch off camera about the businesses and stuff that we do. Like obviously you can see right through that lens.
Yeah.
But the average 16-year-old that's coming up and just got red pilled and is like looking to get into the game of entrepreneurship, they're going to send $1,000 to the wrong guy for a course because they knew how to brand themselves and the real heavy hitter didn't. And that's something that I went through. The first course I bought was I had $700 to my name. And I saved it up to buy this drop shipping course from this guy he had a great brand. He was in the McLarens. He had all the same photos, were all the same color grade, some great highlights, some testimonials and screenshots with just the right information blurred out. And I spent everything I'd saved for this course. And the dude barely spoke English and I couldn't understand a word he was saying. And it was a great lesson. It was well worth the $700 because it was a good lesson. But luckily I didn't stop the spirit of buying courses because that's my number one expense is education right now. I joke about it. I say I dropped out of college, but I'm going to spend way more than $250,000 on my education over the next
it's so true, dude. Like it's so funny. We had a very similar journey because I chased the dream of playing Division I college football, and at the same time, I left. And the first course I bought was drop shipping, and I think I made a third of the payment. It was like a $3,000 course. I paid $1,000, and I got like one call, and the guy disappeared, and it was like on Google Docs. Fast forward a few years, the guy ended up getting sued. Yeah, and so like I went down that hole, and then I didn't stop though. Like you said, it's just been not stopping and being in a season of aggressive growth. So then what is it though that sets, like, what do you believe is greatness in the content creation world from the business standpoint? Like you're in the business of creating content and branding for people. What are the principles of greatness? What does that look like?
Well, I don't think that there's like you say the business of it. I think that it's all personal. Right. Like people want to see the person. Like when I'm working with someone, I'd say 80% of the people that I'm working with barely even know that my company is called Brand Sharks. They know they're working with Danny. They know they're working with Coolness. And all of the clients that I'm working with too, like they know they're working with Acronym, not like a company name. No one wants to see a company logo and some graphics about how great your company is. Like they want to know who am I giving my money to? Who's running this stuff? So really just being yourself and talking about stuff that you know about. That's the hardest piece for a lot of people. Everyone wants to dive into general business right away when they're first getting started. But the reality is, you had a page with 1,000 followers that gets no likes. What happens if one of your videos does reach a lot of people? Who the hell is going to listen to you? Like, you got to think about it from the viewer's perspective. They're coming across you on their Explore page, and they're seeing a video of some guy yapping about general business that has 10 likes, and maybe they will click on the profile. If they do click on the profile, what does that profile look like? When people sit me down and have me do coaching with them about branding, the first thing that I say is look me in the eye. I ask, would you follow yourself if you didn't know who you were? If you were just some random guy that you came across on your Instagram, would you follow yourself? And let's be honest, probably not. 99% of people. Would you follow if you came across your page and you saw one of your videos and then you clicked on your profile, would you be like, this motherfucker's dope? Or would you be like, some fucking dude trying to be something, as a grand guru wannabe? And then let's say the answer is yes, because I think that 99.99% of people can't honestly answer that question yes. The next question comes, once you answer yes to that first question, are you a raging fan of yourself? Would you want to show your profile to all of your friends to show them like you put them onto something? Like, bro, I send my friends Hormozy videos all the time and they thank me for sending them the videos because they're so valuable. Would you be a raging fan of yourself too? That's the one that I'm working on. I think I would follow myself now, where it's like there was 9 years of life that I wouldn't have answered.
No, it's a really good question, because we ask the same thing when it comes to building products. Like, would you buy this own product that you're selling? For a lot of people in the coaching space, like, would you pay $10,000 for your own coaching program? Or do you know that there's someone out there who maybe mentored you that you'd rather buy his program, right? And so, I probably can't even honestly say yes to that question.
It's a tough question to ask, dude. It's humbling. And I love humbling experiences because as someone, and I'm sure you know this too, bro, 22 years old, I'm 21. The people around us, my gosh, dude, 22 doing that, bro, 21 doing that, man, what was I doing when I was that age? You get a lot of praise. And sometimes I think that can get to our heads. I don't know how you feel about this too, because it's a different game, and I can't talk to anyone on this level a lot other than you. I know we were talking a little off camera about building a little community around 2000s babies, but it's interesting because everyone will praise you up and then you'll start to think you're somebody. And that's a dangerous spot to be in when you think you're somebody, because then you start to have blind spots that you won't acknowledge because you think you're someone because everyone's praising you.
Right.
So I love those humbling moments and humbling questions where I can be like, no, like I wouldn't send my page to one of my friends because they'd probably be like, why the fuck are you sending me this guy's page? He's a loser.
Right. You know, and I actually recently came to the same realization because I think the challenge for us being so young, having seen some success so quick, is you never have fallen on your face hard enough. Like, I was a great student, was college recruited for football, dropped out, first agency made money, second agency made money.
Yeah.
So I never knew what it was like to create a plan that didn't work. And because of that, you try to perfect everything before taking action. Recently, I'm realizing, like, okay, what if the faster I can realize, like, I fucking don't know shit about shit and, like, I suck at this thing, that's the faster path to growth. And that's why recently I've picked up the camera myself. And that's why I've taken it on to, like, launch my own podcast. When before I started taking all this action, I actually was beginning to hire people and, like, pay people. And I think I will get to that point. But I was like, I can't always have the perfect plan before I even fucking press record on number one. Like, I need to just press record and film the first one. And then see, like, what if I don't even like this thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, dude, it's tough because he's like, you just gotta face reality with the content.
Right.
I know I touched on it a little bit at the beginning, but like, here's the reality. When you start content, you're gonna not want to press record at first, and you're gonna finally muster up the courage to press record. You're gonna do it, and you're gonna look back on it. Maybe you think it's good, maybe you don't. You're gonna post it, and it's gonna go nowhere.
Right.
No one's going to see it.
Yeah.
It's not going to get on anyone's For You page until you do it 1,000 times. And then as a smart person, or as anyone with half a brain, you can just auto-correct yourself. Okay, well, I can do this better. This video didn't do well. Why? This video did well. Why was that? Let's just progressively get better and better and better and better every single time that we make videos. Now, all of a sudden, we're on video 1,000. And it's not that it's because it was our 1,000th video that it did well. It's because we learned from the 999 other videos that didn't do well.
Yeah.
So now, all of a sudden, you look at a guy like Mr. Beast, every single video gets 100 million views.
Yeah.
Why? He's put out thousands of videos, put in millions of dollars studying it, and literally puts in over $1 million into every single one of his videos he does.
Right.
He knows what's going to work.
Yeah.
You know what's going to work the more you put out.
Right. So what does the progression then look like for someone who's in the earlier phases or maybe just getting started? Like, what matters at each stage, if you could maybe break it down into like 4 or 5 stages of progressing?
Yeah, well, dude, the first stage, and if I could physically be in the room with anyone watching this that's in that first stage, I would grab you on the shoulders and be like, why are you not starting? Why are you not starting?
Right.
What's wrong with you?
Right.
And try my best to convey that. Maybe it's a different personality type that wouldn't respond to that. Like, that's what I would want to do to you. What are you doing, man?
Yeah.
And I think that once you can get past that and actually stay consistent with it, like the first phase, that's just starting. Like, you need to fucking press record. The second stage is staying consistent with it, where you're like, look, okay, this isn't going well. People aren't watching. Maybe I suck. Maybe this isn't cut out for me. Let me not do it. Yeah. That's where a lot of people fail.
Right.
Is that they start and then they realize that, oh my gosh, I'm not famous within 6 months. My ego hurts. Let's just stop so I don't have to keep getting hurt. It's just keep on going every single day. And I think the third phase is actually starting to study like what works and what doesn't. Like, why is this video doing well? Why is this video not doing well? Was it the hook, the first 3 seconds of the video, or was it the body that, like, maybe I made a really good hook to it and the video has nothing to do with the hook, so I spent all the time on the hook? Or is there no like reward at the end of the video? Did the video just like cut off randomly and the reward wasn't fulfilled? There wasn't something that people got out of the video. It was like left them on an open loop and people get pissed off. They don't want to follow you. Or is it that maybe your page just doesn't look good? When people click on your profile, it looks like you're a noob when it comes to this stuff. Maybe you made a really good point in the video. Someone's like, huh, maybe that guy's onto something. And then they click on your profile and they're like, oh, wait, no, this guy, no, he's stupid.
Right.
So I think the third phase is just like studying it and really recognizing what's working and what's not. Like, dude, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on courses just for like hooks. Content creation, just for short form stuff. Even more money on like long form stuff. And then I think the fourth stage is hiring people to do it for you. Like, this is where I think that I'm starting to get in between like stages 4 and 5. 5 is where you're a complete machine and you just live, and there's video like on you all the time. There's teams that edit your stuff. There's people that post all of your stuff. You don't have to think about it and you're just cranking. Look at a guy like Andy Elliott. He just goes about his day, and between the stuff that he's doing throughout his day and between his team, he's posting 4 or 5 times a day on every single platform. And that's why he's gone from 600K to 2.1 million over the course of 9 months. So I think that stage 4 in between 3 and 5 is just like hiring some people. Like, okay, have a videographer now. I have people editing my videos for me. I have someone maybe posting for me. And that way it doesn't consume too much of my time, but I get the benefits of content as if it were consuming a lot of my time. So I think if I had to come up with 5 stages on the fly, I think
that's really good. So it's like first getting started, then it's consistent, then it's optimization, then it's outsourcing, and then really it's like full
becoming a machine.
Yeah. Which brings me to the next question of like, in a world where content is so important and media is an important part of your business, how do you, I want to just bring up the point of like how I believe every company is going to be a media company because it's so important. Whether you're a restaurant, whether you're a agency, whether you're an e-com brand, like media is a very important part of your brand. And so like, how much effort do you think people should put into their media in comparison to the rest of the departments in their business?
I think it depends on where you're at in the game. Yeah. If you're a small business, you're doing under $1 million a year, I wouldn't make it your main focus because it's not going to move the lever as much as maybe ads will. But everyone should be doing it a little bit. And because there's been multiple studies that I've looked at with different guys like Hormozy where they talk about the people that watched the content before they got on the sales call bought at like an 80% higher rate. And I've experienced that too. Like when people will buy or not buy, I'll always ask at the end of the call, like, how much of the content did you watch? Like, did you watch any of my content? Did you see any of the YouTube stuff? And a lot of the times when people didn't buy, I was like, no, I didn't watch too much of your stuff. When people did buy, it's like, dude, I watched like 4 YouTube videos. I scrolled through your stuff all day, man. You're dope. And there was, I think it was a Harvard study that talked about how like when people watch your videos for a certain period of time cumulative, it's almost as if psychologically they become friends with you. So it's like after watching 30 minutes of content, people will psychologically consider you as a friend. After watching 3 hours of content of you, then people psychologically consider themselves as like a best friend. Where it's like, if I were to talk to a guy like Hormozy, I would say, dude, I know all about you, man.
Right.
Like, I know where he went to college. I know the businesses that you started. He doesn't know who the fuck I am.
Right.
So if people can watch your content before interacting with you on a business level, it's almost like they trust you more. You don't have to build as much rapport because they watched 10 videos of you online. And if your videos were good, then they trust you and then they buy from you. So
that's the goal, I think, for people who are building a brand. Because like we believe, and we would tell all of our clients, like bingers are buyers. So
it's a good one.
Like the goal is not to, in the high ticket coaching space at least, the goal would always be to bring a new lead in and just sell them right away. Yeah. But it's changed a lot to where like people have seen so much of the same shit that they really want to know who you are. The only way to do that is have them consume a certain amount of content. And I feel like for me personally, how I measure objectively like how good I'm doing at building my brand, it's can I walk into a room and not have to say much? Because like Hormozy walks into a room, he doesn't even need to say a word, and everyone in the room knows him pretty much. And I think the difference is like I walk into the room, the only person who knows me is myself. The only person who knows what I've done is very few people. And I think like you get to a point where you set the goal as, can I walk into the room and people know who I am without speaking? Because my story that I've already documented online speaks for itself. Yeah, that's a very good goalpost, I think.
Yeah,
would you agree?
It's a tough one to hit, man. And even as someone, I've put out tens of thousands of videos over every platform for just myself. Not even talking about clients. Well over, I'd say we're probably close to 1 million videos. I have to cut it up and figure out how many exactly we've done, but like that's even tough. There's still events I go to and no one knows. Right. And I honestly kind of like that because it puts me in like almost in like survival mode a little bit. Like the instincts kick in. It's like, let's go meet everyone. Like I want everyone to know who I am. Like we went to an event on, it was this past Monday, a week ago from today. It was the Edge Leadership Summit with Raul Villases. Side note, that was an incredible event. Great people. It was one of the best events I've ever been to. But that place, I knew nobody. It was all like, aside from my boy Justin who brought me to the event, shout out to you, bro. I knew nobody other than him, and everyone was like 40 to 50, 60-year-old guys that were super successful in business and like trying to have, like almost like a spiritual awakening, like find themselves on the inside. It wasn't even really a business summit at all. It was more like meditation, rituals and stuff like that, which turned out to be really good, but no one knew who I was, and almost like guys don't care about Instagram presence. I can't walk in and be like, oh, I'm cool in this, and then they're like, okay. And by the end of the day, people were introducing me to other people. Yo, this is Coolness. He's Instagram, 1.8 mil. Oh, you got to meet this guy. This is Mr. Coolness. This is no. You see, bro, I saw your page, man. Someone showed it to me. And that's how I can measure like how well the brand speaks for itself. Yeah. Because if I was, Danny Seliger _ with 20K followers and a couple videos up, it's just not going to have that effect. So I think that's a great goal to have. Yeah. It's just like, can your brand speak for itself? I think that your Instagram account, your social presence, especially your Instagram account, is your digital business card. For example, before we met, Thomas had showed you my Instagram.
Right.
To you, that's who I was as a person before we met. Like before you get to know me, your Instagram is who you are to people. Before
and it's usually the first place that people go. Like before Google, like if he tells me Danny Seliger, like I'm gonna go and type that into Instagram and see what profile comes up. I'm not gonna go punch it in Google.
Right.
It's very rare unless it's some fucking billionaire.
You want to see the net worth?
So, which brings up another good question of like debating platforms right now and just the future and like how things have shifted over the last year. Like what is important? How do you differentiate like long form, short form, what's for what, and the different platforms? Maybe can you touch on that?
I guess what's the kind of audience we're talking to right now? Like, am I talking to a lot of people who are already really big into content and they want like high level advice, or is it like, are we on more of a low?
It's mainly, I think that a lot of the people I come across in my life have actually done cool shit. Like the clients we work with are typically successful business owners already, and they want to move into packaging information, sharing their expertise, coaching, etc. So a lot of people they're the people who've done cool shit and not documented it. Kind of like me.
Okay. I would say the first thing is just get on the 3 major platforms. Platforms you need to be on are Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Non-negotiable. If you make long form stuff, it's very easy to have a team cut it up into short form stuff, so you can be putting both out there. I think that if you haven't already posted 1,000 videos across all platforms, you don't need to worry about what your mix is of what you're putting out. Like you need to get to 1,000 videos put out. I think it's just like focusing on the inputs, like have I put out 1,000 videos? Okay, no, then the goal isn't what optimization strategy is going to be best for maximum reach. It's fucking put out 1,000 videos.
Right.
And then once you're there, you're a smart guy. Your audience is smart people. You're going to figure it out. It's not that hard. People don't get over the first hump of 1,000 videos because you put out 10, I didn't get the results I wanted. You put out 20 more, I'm busy and it's not working at all. It does work. I've seen people build big businesses and do a lot of money, like do a lot of revenue by not having that big of a brand, not having that big of a following. The content works.
So that actually brings up a good question, which is like, I think where most people get stuck is the reason they don't take action is they're not actually super clear on what to do. So what I mean by that is they sit down, they have a camera, they're ready to press record, but the real question is like, what part of my story do I share? Because you can say like, before I get to 1,000, like just get to 1,000, don't worry about anything. But is there some truth to having a better understanding of like, maybe if I talk about this versus that, I may be more effective with what I put out getting to the 1,000.
Yeah,
there's
100%.
Obviously that factor too.
The theory that I always bring up to my clients when we're first starting to work together is own the puddle, then own the pond, then own the lake, then own the ocean. What is the puddle, little tiny niche that you are best at, that no one else can touch you at, that you are most known for? Talk about that. Because if you're talking about how to optimize average drinks ordered by a customer for a bar, you are going to have a bunch of super fan bar owners watch your stuff. Right. But if that's what you do in your business and you're going to talk about, how you grew your social presence or, how you grew your business revenue, no one's going to fucking listen to you because you don't have the Hormozy presence, because that's who the people are listening to about general businesses, guys that look like that, not people who are smaller fish. So what's the puddle that's super niche? And then what's the pond that's a little bit less niche but still niche? And then where's the lake? And then you talk about the ocean once you really get there. So I would say, like, what's your puddle? And then honestly, dude, it really is just putting stuff out there. When I was first getting into like the information content, because I put out like trick shot videos, wiffle ball stuff, TikTok skits and stuff. Those were easy to make, so you just follow trends and just do whatever. But when it comes to actually talking to the camera, the easiest, most practical strategy I can give is just keep a notes open in your phone of ideas for content. Like you're in the shower and you get a good idea, put it in there. It's 3 a.m. You randomly wake up and you get an idea, put it in there. You're walking throughout your day or you get inspired by someone you're on the phone with, put the idea in there. Sit down at the end of the week on Sunday and record all of those ideas, and then do the same thing again the next week. Once you record all the ideas, erase them and then do it again the next week. Just keep doing that. Because the reality is, like, you got to get more comfortable on the camera at first, because a lot of people are going to be pretty awkward on the camera when they first start. So it really is just getting the stuff out there at first and then starting to tailor the strategy past that. But that's really the most practical strategy I could get.
No, and I like that, because I feel like there's so many people out there who try to sell you, like, post this much on this in this platform, post this much in this platform, in this placement, stories. It's
Yeah,
like,
dude. No, just give me 5K. I'll tell you exactly the strategy, bro.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. And I think anyone who says there's a strategy right now, and I'm sure there is, but it's really in the beginning, like you said, just reps.
But it still is just reps. Like if you reverse engineer the best people who are crushing it right now, all they're doing is putting in reps.
Right.
Hormozy literally made a video about how he is split testing in all of his videos in live time, testing different fonts, testing different hooks, just putting out volume. But he made a video on YouTube 2 days ago that said, I put out 35,000 pieces of content in the last 40 months.
Right, and
this is what happened. But it's reps throughout the entire way. That's why I focus on it so much.
Because the only way that you can actually get feedback to see how to tailor your strategy is based on a volume to really spot patterns.
The market's always going to decide. Like there have been videos that I've made where I'm like, oh my gosh, I crushed it in this video. Like I did a day in the life. I documented my full day. I edited it myself to make sure that it was going to be perfect. This video is going to crush. Doesn't do anything. There's been other videos. I always use this example in the interviews that I do and in the content that I put out. I made a video in front of a green screen with my college volleyball hoodie on. I said I went to college for 2 years, had a 4.0. I learned one thing, and this is what it was. And it was how to correctly dap people up. You remember when you walked into the house today and it was perfect crit? So that's the one thing I learned from college. I said, that's what helps me in business to this day because some people remember that. You get an epic, like, sound barrier breaking dap with someone, like, they remember that. And I said, that's the one thing that I learned from going to college for 2 years and having a perfect GPA. And I recorded that video talking about that, and I looked back at it. I was like, I'm not going to fucking post this. This is, what am I doing? I'm not posting this. And I was like, you know what? No, you just got to post it. I posted it. It was one of my best performing videos.
Wow. Yeah, so, it's the ones you least expect. But I want to come back real quick to, you were talking about like the puddle, the pond, the lake, the ocean. Like, what if you are someone that maybe you don't consider yourself the best in a specific, you're not the best, let's say, in sales, but you're way above average, okay? You're not the best in marketing, but you're way above average. So, and I asked this mainly for myself because what we've done the last few years is partner with and build info products. But what we thought was going to start as just paid ads turned into paid ads and then combining my background in sales. And I'm more passionate about sales, but we came in for marketing. And so then I really became good at marketing and sales. Well, that led to an issue of like fulfillment and operations, which I knew nothing about a year ago. But it forced me to learn like, how do I build systems that can handle scale, and how do I hire the right people, and how do I maximize team performance? And I think I know a decent amount about a lot of things in one business that I'm able to reverse engineer solutions to almost any problem someone throws my way. And so like, I guess that is specific in one sense of like, oh, I can reverse engineer the solution to your problem in almost any business model. But it's also, is that too specific, not specific? Like where does that fall?
That brings up a good point. It's something, it's like a mini project that I've been working on right now. I have a running notes list in my phone of different problems that I run into. And every time I run into a problem, I'll write down what the problem was.
Right.
And whether it's minor, whether it's big. And once it gets solved, I'll put a check next to it. And then one of these days, I'm saying within the next 2 months, I'm going to record just a plethora of all of the videos. Just like, this was the problem I had. This is what solved it. There's a video you can look up on my YouTube right now. It's like how to tag people directly in a Slack channel from a Monday automation. That was like my test at it. I have a feeling that video is going to crush over the next 2 years when it's 1 a.m., they're building their business, and they're like, fuck. How the fuck do I tag this person in the Monday channel, in the Slack channel? And they're going to look it up. It's going to be my video. So I would say, to answer your question in a roundabout way, all of the specific things and problems that you've handled are going to hit so close to home with somebody that watches them. So I would take all of the little stuff that you've done that's super niche like this and just make a video about it. Here's how we did XYZ for this business, or here's how I solved this XYZ specific business problem. You talk about that. This is what this video is going to be about. You can make a nice thumbnail for each of the different platforms about what that video was, and then people will watch that. Like someone's going to watch it and be like, fucking Akram did it for me, man. Like, this is the guy. And then set your page around, bro. Look at this guy, dude. He just solved all these business problems on the page. Because a lot of the people they want to talk about general business. And there's so many motherfuckers talking about general business, talking about sales, talking about marketing, that there's no actual tactical stuff. There's a need for the tactical stuff because everyone wants to hide it. Everyone wants to talk about general business and then sell you their course for the actual tactics, which aren't even that good in the first place. So why don't you just make videos about the tactics you use to see if people actually like them? Because guess what? They're probably not going to. Videos probably aren't going to do really well. But then the two tactics that do really, really well, it's like, okay, I know what I did on these videos. Let's do more of that.
Yeah, I mean, and what I think, like, I've been leaning more into coaching in this style of, like, every entrepreneur is smart enough to have answers inside of themselves. So more often than not, my job when I coach someone or consult a business is I want to see how I can lead the business owner to see what I see. Because if I can do that, then I train him on the thought process to get there over and over by himself. He doesn't need me. And just as you're saying that, I think where most people get stuck is like they outsource their thinking. It's like you said, okay, just start here. And then instantly you set off a thought loop of like, okay, wait, like let me talk about this time where I almost got sued. Let me talk about like how we did all this crazy shit for this person over the 1 year. Let me talk about how there was these problems he didn't listen to and how that manifested. And you go down the rabbit hole, you can find your own answers you're looking for. But a lot of times people get stuck in like, I just need the perfect answer before I start.
And it's egotistical to think that everyone is going to watch every single one of your videos. Like the amount of podcasts, interviews, content I've done, I have repeated myself hundreds of times. I've told the same story hundreds of times. And there's stories I've told hundreds of times that you probably haven't heard yet on social media and that the world still hasn't heard. There's probably 5 people that have heard all of my stories that I've shared. Like you had to keep repeating yourself. You can recycle content so much. I go, well, I really thought that video was good. I thought that content was really good within the video. Let's try that same piece again with a different hook. Let's try that same story again with a different delivery at the end, with a different call to action at the end. You can redo so much of your content and repurpose it the same way that you would, have a long form tweet into an Instagram reel. It's the same like content, just different formats. You can reuse so much of your stuff.
Yeah, that's very important to keep in mind because like. It's funny when you say that, you look around at the people who are elite at what they do around you and you're like, I've heard this guy say this story 5 times. It's just because you know him so much. Every time he steps in the room, whoever's hearing it that's not you, like 99% of them never heard it.
Yeah.
Right. So, well, dude, I mean, to wrap this up, like where do you see the future of content creation going, at least with maybe some AI stuff or like what's the next couple of years look like in this space?
The real will prevail. I have high hopes for the gurus online. There's enough people that are coming out that are exposing the people that aren't doing the right thing, and the people who are the real heavy hitters are starting to wake up to content. So I think the real is going to prevail. You'll see the people who are actually crushing it over the next 2-3 years in the social media space. You'll be able to trust them because the fake gurus who are renting the McLarens and color grading their photos the exact same way across their Instagram to make it look super aesthetic and then going to sell you a $10,000 course, those guys are going to get squashed by real heavy hitters once everyone truly wakes up.
Right.
In terms of AI, I think it's naive to think that it's not going to start to take over. From right now we're recording this, it's April 28th, 2024. I don't think that there's enough advanced stuff right now for me to want to give my clients videos that are done off of AI. I won't trust it. I have a team full of editors that do all this stuff right now because I think the human touch is very important. But like I said, I think it's naive to think that AI is not going to really take over the next few years. I think it's going to keep getting smarter, and I think it's going to play a big role in content creation for people putting out mass amounts and paying less to do it.
Yeah. Do you guys use AI to enhance any of the workflows you currently do?
The super, super mundane stuff. Like if it's a podcast and you just want the overall like audio scrub for ums and ands, and there's really good AIs that can do that, but I always make sure the guys are always checking it afterwards. Or like, for example, with this one, we got 3 different camera angles going right now. There's AIs that'll do a really good job of like when I'm talking, it's going to be this camera. When you're talking, it's going to be that camera. When we're both talking a little bit, it'll be that camera. And it'll do a really good job of that kind of stuff. In terms of like, okay, let's give the AI these 3 different camera angles, both of our mics, pull the best, most contextual 5 clips from it and edit it in a way where there's a great hook at the beginning, the captions are on point, there's icons and correct B-roll of both of us popping up at the right times. I don't think it's there yet, unless I'm missing something.
Yeah.
But I think it very well could be there over the next couple of years.
Right. I think what AI is missing is the human context to like process and logic through what is important, what's not important. And we see that in the marketing space as well, in the sales space. Like it can sometimes get caught up on the wrong word. And you're like, I just wish this machine like understood what we're talking about. Yeah. But I mean, even the wrong human can't even understand that. So yeah, that's really good to hear. Well, dude, any final thoughts on anything you want to share that's important for people who are creating content, growing their brand, getting their name out there?
Yeah, dude, if you made it this far in the podcast, I can tell that you clearly want to actually grow your brand. And if you could take me looking at you right now as the proverbial hands on the shoulders shaking you, just fucking start.
Right.
Seriously do it. And commit to posting 1,000 videos.
Right.
If you get to 1,000 videos and you still feel like this is a complete waste of time, then so be it. Throw in the towel and decide that you're not going to do it. But the amount of stuff that you will learn in that time period will be incredible, and the amount you'll value your content, your time, and your social media will skyrocket. That's what I
Yeah. And I do want to add up with one question, like maybe as a source of inspiration for the people listening who have to go all in. Like, share what has your brand allowed you to do? Like,
I mean, dude,
doors it's open.
how much time do you have, man? How much time do we have on here? I could go on for hours about this, dude. But a good example is I went to the Limitless Arena event in 2023 in Salt Lake City. It was the inaugural one.
We were both there, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Before we had met, there were 7,000 people there, fully packed out event, really great lineup of speakers. I just had a GA ticket. I was sitting in the nosebleeds because I just wanted to meet people and sell some of my product there and get connected. I didn't really care to sit close or soak in the value from the event. I went there to network. And one of the people that was sponsoring the event was the Grit. Really great company. Shout out to the boys at the Grit. They're awesome. But I literally just followed their page because it said follow at the Grit on Instagram. So I followed them, didn't message, didn't do anything. I just followed them. And this is back, I think I had like 1.5 million or something like that. And they literally were like, yo, shoot me a message. Like during the event, they shot me a message. We're like, yo, bro, like, who are you? Like, come backstage. We want to introduce you to some people.
Right.
Get introduced to guys like Dan Fleischman, Ryan Pineda, some of the other headliners. Was in like the networking rooms, like eating with some of the guys. I bought a GA ticket. I was in the nosebleeds, and they gave me a badge to go backstage. Right. That's one of the things. Talk about getting higher response rates in the DMs, whether you're selling something or whether you're trying to riz in the DMs and you want to get out there more. You get more responses.
Yeah, definitely on the dating side, you get some perks,
bro. I can confidently say, like, you play a lot of things on easy mode. I have way cooler friends than I would have had that wouldn't have taken me seriously if I didn't have a good brand. I mean, you can look me up. I got guys like Grant Cardone following me. Like, who's going to follow me if I have 1,000 followers? So I post the exact same content. Like, once you're out there and the brand is built, everything's aesthetic. You got a good username. You got, like, your page looks really good. Your content's good. Everything's cohesive. You get cooler friends. I mean, dude, I could go on about that.
Yeah, no, it's so true. It's just like your personal business card nowadays, your digital business card. Like,
and it's instant respect getting anywhere. Like, there could be someone disrespecting me. Like, this is a good example. At the same event, literally a week ago today, a lot of the people there were 40, 50, 60 years old. I was the youngest there by like 15 years. It was awesome. I love places like that because all the guys are doing way better than me. And I introduced myself to one of the guys. He goes, "Who's your dad here? Like, whose son are you?" And I was just kind of like, "Oh no, like, I'm here for the event. Like, I'm here by myself." He's like, "Oh, okay, got you, little bro. Like, appreciate you. Like, see you around." That same guy, someone had told him about my Instagram that I had met before, and that same guy came back up to me. He's like, "Bro, nice to meet you, man. I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to disrespect. I didn't know you did this, and this." It's a very good positioning to be in. So things like that happen all the time. You get cooler friends. Yeah. Good respect getting.
Yeah, it's true.
People easy.
Especially because, like, you and I, we travel around the world. So you're constantly meeting new people, building new relationships. And so almost always for me, when I'm going into, I'm usually the one walking up to someone and like, "Yo, you look cool. What's going on?" And you kind of feel more confident knowing that this thing backs you. Your brand backs you. It's like, it speaks for you. So
absolutely.
When you're walking up to someone that you know is super high level,
"Hey man, you on Instagram?"
Yeah, right. And you have like confidence knowing that there's something there.
Yeah, just follow yourself.
Yeah.
All right, man, have a good one.
Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly. With that said, dude, it's been an honor to have you on, man. I'm excited to kind of chat more and see where the journey goes together. And for those listening, it's been awesome having you tune in, and really honored that we were able to bring some value to these guys about all things content creation, personal branding. Super great to have you on, man.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate you having me here, and I'm excited to see where the arena goes, man. The podcast. You guys up next. Acting, dude. Beast, you guys are in the right spot for knowledge.
Let's go.
Peace, man.